What's up, Dojo fam? It's Shinobi, and today Trials is on the Cauldron, but there's a twist. Now there is no radar, and you do not get revives. I'll say that again. There are no revives, and there's no radar. So it's going to be a lot tougher, a lot harder to secure some wins. Now, with that being said, I'm really excited for it because when I played Halo 3 MLG a lot, I am used to having no motion sensor, so I have to rely on my headset to hear the environment, to hear what kind of weapon they have, to hear the footsteps, the jumps, where they're coming from. So you're going to have to use the same tactics when it comes to Trials this weekend. I highly advise, if you have a headset, to turn off the music. If you don't have a headset, just turn up the volume a little bit. That way you can hear certain things. You'll be able to hear when people jump because Warlocks have the glide, the Titan skates, the shoulder charges, the double jumps from the Hunters, the shade steps. Little things like that that you really wouldn't think about, now you really have to think about because you have no eyes on where they are unless they're in your screen. So you have to rely on some other senses, that being your hearing. Now the Cauldron is a pretty small map, so I don't need to go over strategies too much because a lot of people are just going to rush into the middle. But because there's no radar, no motion sensor, no revives, I wanted to talk more about that aspect versus fighting on the Cauldron and what you should and should not do. Because I believe that when people play on the Cauldron, it's usually a pretty linear map. A lot of people try to get into the B zone area or that lobby area with the little bridge ramp going towards top heavy. So there's not really much to talk about there. But with revives, however, it's going to be a lot tougher because now you have to know exactly where an orb is. When you kill somebody, you have to tell your teammate where they are. Use general callouts if you need to make some up yourself. Use different angles as well to get the kills. You're going to have to say orange door or gold. Gold is probably going to be a lot easier for a callout, even though it's more orange. And then green is going to be a pretty easy callout for the other side. So if you want to say green lobby, green door, stuff like that. Inside lobby, on bridge, under bridge, just to give your team a general sense of where your opponents are and where orbs are. Now, when it comes to the zone, it's going to be down here in the pool. If it ends up going down to time, I highly doubt it will go down to time. It'll be a very rare occurrence because you can't really camp comfortably because there's no motion sensor. But just in case, this is where the zone will spawn. It's going to be down here in the pool near bottom heavy side. Now going back to revives, because there are no revives, there's no need to use aggressive alpha loopy. But because there are no revives, I feel that there will be a comeback for Sunsinger Warlocks because of the Fireborn or self-res. Now if you are aware that you're going against a Sunsinger self-res, you need to know what gamertag that is. That way, when that person is dead, you know where that orb is. So when Shaq says the enemy is making a comeback, you know exactly where they are. And this is where it comes in handy for hearing and having a headset. You'll be able to hear where the radiance is, but it's way more beneficial to actually know where they are, not just hearing for where they are. Because if they're the last person, they self-res, and they're getting the revives, but you guys didn't talk about where the revives were, now it's going to be either 3 versus 3 with them having radiance, or 3 versus 2, or even 2 versus 1 because they self-res. So it's stuff like that that you need to be aware of and just have that attention to detail. I believe that the rounds will be fairly quickly because, as I mentioned earlier, you can't camp as comfortable, especially with a map that is this small. I know that Burning Shrine last week, it was a lot easier to camp because you had your motion sensor, so you could stand around the doors to see when someone's going to come in. You have your snipers to just hard scope through your little areas. But with the Cauldron, it's totally different. You can get flanked. You can't really sit in your spawn. And if you do sit in your spawn, it's not going to be in your best interest because they have so much space to move around and go for the flank. And now you're going to be flustered. You and your teammates are going to be flustered because they're coming in, flanking you, pushing in with shotguns, pushing in with grenades, shoulder charges. So I feel that, like I said, it's going to be a pretty aggressive game when it comes to Trials on Cauldron. As far as heavy ammo goes, heavy ammo is actually going to spawn up top near the B zone. And this is going to be a very open spot to get heavy, so you don't want to just rush in and try to get it. You want to go ahead and back up a little bit, be a little more passive. I like this little spot because you're not having your back towards the door, but you can see their door, like the top orange door or gold door, and then the bottom gold door, as well as if somebody comes in. So I like the spot because it has a good angle. So on heavy, I would recommend going for a flank, going towards the bottom heavy if there were two heavies like there normally is in control. Have one person, recommended your fastest person, whether it's a hunter with bones or a titan, to skate around because both teams are going to be a little more passive and waiting for the other team to push in for heavy. But while they're waiting there and aiming down sights, you can have a person push around, call out how many they see, throw a grenade, and flank them. So that's it for this video, Dojo fam. I appreciate you all. I love ya. Dojo love, Dojo fam. Tonight's gonna be movie night. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm excited. I hope you're excited, and I will see you on stream. Shinobi's poppin' smoke. Peace.